are now tuned into the sounds of What Black Men Like.
The number one apex in the world. I know there's something absolutely unique about these guys.
Excellent podcast.
Women standing up for themselves. Okay.
We are back. Best podcast in the game. You are now tuned into the sounds of What Black Men Like. Welcome back to What Black Men Like, the Black Man's Lifestyle Podcast. This is yours truly, Mr. No Cap. Of course, you got the regular cast, the characters in the building. Brittney, Burna, Willie P. Allegedly, Willie P, if you're late one more time, man, it's going to be a problem, okay? Gonna be a problem. But he's going to jump on. We got a guest with us today. We got Brother Mack joining us. Before we start, I'm just going to have Brother Mack come in here and introduce himself real quick.
Pleasure to be here, and I love the show. I've been listening to you guys for a long time. Originally from Laurelton, New York. That's in Queens. Been an educator for several years, been assistant principal, school administration for a few years as well. Now I'm currently in higher education.
Awesome. Pleasure to have you on, bro.
Thank you.
So we're going to be talking about a couple different things. First topic, on the last episode, we talked about masturbation, National Masturbation Day, National Masturbation Month, and we went into some of our personal stories about how we first became aware that that was a thing. But now I kind of want to pivot to what happens on the other side of that when you actually are dealing with another person. And there's this concept called post-nut clarity. So this is after you've busted off and you've realized I'm laying here with another person and I don't really know how to interact with this person. I was in a fog of attraction. Now that fog is gone. So Mac, I'm gonna come to you first. If you can tell me what that term means to you, post-nut clarity, and how do we navigate that situation when we got past that fog and now we're back to life, back to reality?
Well, yeah, it's definitely a thing. I think it derives from thinking with the wrong head. You know what I'm saying? Not really looking at the situation for what it is and letting your hormones control the decisions that you make. And then once those hormones are offset after the action, you kind of come back to the realization that, hey, I don't know this person. There may be negative consequences associated with dealing with this person. And I think that's what it really sums it all up.
Brittney Burner, as a woman, how is that experience for you?
Seen a meme, or not a meme, a little stupid TikTok video or whatever. And it was this guy, he was in the office and he was in front of this crowd of people and he has this like full suit on. Everybody's asking him meeting questions. So he goes, and when he asks him a question, he's like, yeah, I don't know. When he doesn't know, he runs to the bathroom, whacks one off real quick, and he comes back and he has like this amazing answer. That's what I was thinking that it really meant. So now that you say it, yeah, I definitely think that it applies to men probably more often. Women select a little differently. It's definitely some dumb shit that goes down, but there's a good amount of intentionality as well, whether it's fucking this nigga for this money or I actually like him and I want to see where it's gonna go, and then you get that post-nut clarity of he was only here for the ass. So I can see where some good logical thoughts come into play after the whole lust moment.
So you think for women it's more of a clarity comes after the emotional connection is established?
Honestly, I would have to say yes. Yes and no, because like I said, I think the clarity just kind of works different. Like, I don't know what y'all wake up thinking after the coochie left you. I feel like are usually waking up thinking, well, damn, I thought this nigga liked me. I guess it's not he liked me. He just want this coochie. Now it's very clear. I'm very clear that all he wanted was this coochie because now he don't call me no more. He ain't rapping like he used to. He ain't trying to see me. He only trying to see me when it's time for coochie. Like,
yeah, that's a great perspective because the clarity does look different. For the man, it's more like I put in all this effort to get this. Now I've gotten it, and now I don't really have the same intention anymore now that I've gotten this.
Right.
So, Matt, your friends, some of the other guys that you know, do you feel like the more mature you get, the less you find yourself in that situation? Or do you think it can happen to you at any time just because that's just the nature of man-woman relationships?
Well, I think it depends on the individual. I don't think being a certain age is going to equate to wisdom. I think just the experiences that you live through will help you to make better decisions if you let it. I think that someone who's had experience in this will learn from it because they don't really like the place that they wind up. because nobody wants to waste energy or waste. More importantly, they don't want to waste time with who you lay down with.
Now, building on that, do you think that clarity is more about the quality of the person? Is it about the physical look of the person? There's been situations where if we've seen this, we've seen memes, we've seen internet jokes about the more you drink, the better she look, or the
Oh
more you
yeah.
drink, the better he look. So, is that clarity more so about how this person looks? Is it about the quality of the sex? If you can kind of rank those things.
Man, I think like the physical piece is important to men. You know what I mean? You have to be physically attracted to a female to want to do that. Unless you under the influence and it's just one of those nights where it's just like whatever happens, happens. Because we've been in those situations as young men, you know what I mean, where you kind of just let your hormones dictate what you do. But as far as like actually putting thought into it and capitalizing on a potential situation, I would say, the physical is a huge part of it. For me, I'm a Gemini man, so honestly, it's got to be mental stimulation for me. Like you could be bad and not know how to hold a conversation or not, pique my interest mentally, and then I just won't be attracted to you sexually like that. But as far as the clarity goes, if you have post nut clarity, then it just kind of means that you didn't really have clarity to begin with. Like you
Hmm.
just walk into it based off of, like I said, not using your brain, not using your senses, just kind of just going with the flow of how you feel in the moment, and just going with the physical, going with the hormonal side of everything.
Britt, in terms of women, how do you navigate that situation where you wake up the next day and it's like, oh shit, thought this was Denzel and it turned out to be Steve Urkel.
When my friends tell me how they accidentally fuck with an ugly nigga, as we all do, potentially he can work his way up from booty call hour to normal hours. I've seen that.
Can work his way up from booty call hours to normal hours.
So what I
Tell
was
us about
saying
the
is
ugly nigga
that
protocol. Yes, go ahead.
ugly nigga protocol. It's not a protocol. It's more like an unwritten thing. What occurs is he stays during booty call hours and you sneak that nigga in. However, let's say said ugly nigga has some pretty mean swag. So they can work their way on up to daytime hours and eventually he could potentially be that ugly nigga that her friend be like, oh yeah, I know he look like that, but I love him. It exists.
Oh
Damn.
man, that was amazing. Maybe the realest shit you might ever said. Willie P has joined us. Better late than never. Brother Willie P, we are talking about post nut clarity and the clarity that
Mm.
people, especially men, tend to get after they have busted off one or two or seven times, and now they realize, damn, who the hell
Mm.
am I here with? So, talk to me about post nut clarity.
Post nut clarity essentially happens when you have this buildup of confusion because you got this buildup of nut
Mhm.
and all these chemical endorphins and other shit like that. And because you have that, it causes fucking mental confusion and it affects your vision where you start to
Mhm.
see things as they are not. It's kind of like when you're hungry as fuck, you're okay with eating some McDonald's every now and then. You would rather have that premier steak, but yeah, the steak is not available. You're okay with a bologna sandwich. Like before you get that fucking nut, you feeling like, hey, Sister Johnson, I never noticed that she had ass like that, right? But if you talk to Sister Johnson like a couple of hours after you just had your nut, you be like, man, Sister Johnson, you don't get your looking ass out of here, right? That's what it is. After that nut, you start to see things a whole lot clearly. 'Cause I've been there a couple of times where I was like, ooh, did I do that?
That was a great visual in terms of Sister Johnson. I could picture a woman that looks like a Sister Johnson. Brother Mack, what are situations where we find ourselves making these decisions that lead us into a situation where now we have post nut clarity when we should have had pre nut clarity?
Man, it almost always involves alcohol or some
Mm.
type of drug. You know what I mean? I don't think it was ever a post nut clarity where I was completely sober.
That nut
Yeah.
that you want to tell us about?
Oh,
Nah, man, I promise you, there's never been a situation where I went in fully knowing like this chick is not bad. This chick is not, something that I find attractive. It was just always like a situation where I had one too many, it's getting late, and it wasn't nothing else around. You know what I'm saying? It
Mhm.
just went down like that.
But Willie P mentioned a situation where you have a build up. So even in situations where a man is sober, we call it a drought. you haven't been able to get none for a while. Is that a situation where a man can make a decision that would have him in a post nut clarity type of situation?
I mean, it never happened to me, but I mean, I could see how it could happen to somebody if they were in that situation. Like I said, I was down south. I attended the HBCU, so I was
Hmm.
always surrounded by beautiful women, man. Like 20 to 1, 19 to 1, something like that at our university. So running into a woman that you would find attractive was not hard to do. Like I say, it was just really in the crunch time. It's overtime. You shooting from half court where it's literally nothing else around and you just too inebriated to even care. They shutting the club down, you on the way out and you ain't trying to go home alone.
Oh man, you know what? I've had several of those situations where the lights came on and I looked at the chick I was dancing with and I was like, oh hell no.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Right?
And
She bad as
it's a
shit, man. She doing her thing in the fucking club and then the lights come on and be like, ah, you like, ah.
I'm having a PTSD flashback as Willie P is saying that. Brittney Burner. First of all, are you familiar with the term parking lot pimping? That's number one. Number two, have you ever had a situation where the lights cut on and you look back and you're like, oh God, does that happen to women as well?
soon as that strobe light hits you, I'm looking. And I don't know why y'all wait till the lights come on. Oh, y'all nasty asses is thinking about booty butt cheeks. But I
Right.
need to make sure that it's the hard on ain't somebody looking like goddamn Freddy Krueger behind me, because you ain't about to damn near impregnate
Mm.
me like that. No, we all look back. No, it's a few niggas out there that's experienced that little runaway with a girlfriend. He look back and then she, yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
y'all are
That's it.
y'all are real devious. Y'all look at the friend and then the friend will give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Real one. But now, if my girl let me dance with an ugly nigga for longer than one song, we got a problem. Because I give out one charity dance. After that, you got to get your ass away from me.
Nah, don't
Once
give me no charity booty.
I ain't going to
when it,
clown you, you know.
well, I've seen the dudes get super duper clowned. You don't have to do it like that. So
Right.
I do respect you having some tact, Brittany Burner. Some
Yeah.
ugly
You
sometimes.
know what? Here's a note to the ladies, right? Speaking on what you saying, Mr. No Cap, we see y'all when y'all clowning other dudes in the club. We see that. We see how y'all clown these what y'all call lame dudes, the guys that y'all really don't like. All right. If you do that to another man, don't try to come talk to me because if I see you clown him, then what you gonna do with some information that I give you, right? Could tell you some secret shit. You gonna go clown me with your fucking homegirl.
No,
We
no,
see
no.
the shit that y'all doing. We don't find that shit attractive at all. Some dudes might holler at you just because they trying to get some ass, but as far as the relationship wise, nah, we don't find that shit attractive at all. Not one fucking bit. If you want attention from those upper level men, then don't let another man see you clown another dude. Cause a real man, he ain't gonna find no respect in that.
That's fine, but regardless, you got different times for different things. Now, one, immature me definitely clown quite a few niggas, but I ain't like that whole cat calling and calling me bitch when I'm just trying to walk away, have my good life
Oh
either.
no, that's
So
unnecessary. We don't do
that's
that.
all the unnecessary is unnecessary. So I definitely grew up at a point early on and decided, all right, I could let you know when I feel like dancing, when I don't feel like dancing. I don't have to do too much. But I will say for the girls that I'm seeing that do both and have done that, I don't know. It's a bunch of different reasons bitches have clown niggas. It could be because they really think the nigga look lame. He don't have no swag. They really find him unattractive. Or he could have done too much earlier and y'all know nothing about that. And that's the one thing that I think y'all sleep on. Y'all don't realize how many niggas come up disrespectful and then walk up on you later on and think it's about to be sweet. Oh,
Right.
get the.
Mm,
I'm just saying, I'm gonna do it.
that's
I'm
a
gonna
good
make.
point.
But aside from those situations, like I said, it's various situations, many different reasons for a girl to swerve a nigga. But you saying that they gonna talk about you behind your back is not necessarily the case because I don't owe this nigga shit. I don't got no loyalty to him. If you my man, that's a different story. You talking about a relationship, you talking about a whole different moral characteristic or foundation, virtue, value, whatever. So I don't see that to be the same. It's just like, oh, why you gotta do that? That's too much.
Yeah, you don't want to cast a wide blanket over everybody based on a few examples. But let me ask Mac, do you think that it says something about a person how they treat the people on the bottom end of the totem pole, meaning the people that they not necessarily vibing with like that,
Mm.
jump off, so to speak, the booty call, so to speak. Does it say a lot about a person how they treat that person? Because some things may translate to how you treat your partner, your wife, your girlfriend.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah, Willie, you hit the nail on the head with it because I mean, I watch people. So I mean, how you interact with other people is important. It speaks to your character. It speaks to, a certain level of class and dignity that you have when you disrespect people publicly. Because it's, we grown now. I mean, that's a real immature way to handle a situation. So I feel like, depending on what age we talking about, it may be appropriate. If we 19, we had a house party, we still in high school. Yeah, I could see it being more on the regular. But to be grown and to, call yourself an adult and to be mature, you know how to kind of somewhat be diplomatic about putting somebody down without crushing their whole soul. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, for everybody else's enjoyment. Like to me, that just seems like you just a diabolical type of person.
Exactly.
I kind of agree with that. For Willie P, I guess let's kind of frame it a little better then. So I don't know if you have to put an age on it. I say if you over, I just say 25. If you over 25 and still publicly trying to shit on people, there's a problem there.
Yeah.
But you don't have to say an age, but the time in a person's life when they should be able to navigate rejection as an adult.
Some people can be in their fucking 50s and 60s. They still don't understand what it's like to be rejected. Most men, I'll speak for men, the more you talk to people, the more you understand rejection, the more that comfortable you are with rejection. And in some cases, you don't even see things as rejection. If
Hmm.
somebody tell me no, right, I'm like, cool. I'm glad you told me no, so I don't have to waste my time with you. That's my frame of mind. Then I just move on to the next one. The next one ain't gonna tell me no. They may talk to me a little bit longer, right? And then I might tell them no. And then I find somebody else and I'm like, hey, look, all right, this is the one I want to talk to, dedicate a little bit more time with, right? So as far as like rejection, I think it's how people not really respond to it, but it's their output that should have some type of maturity to it. Because I think a lot of times what ends up happening is like people, they will reject somebody else to stop them from getting rejected. That's a trend that goes around in this area. Like in the DMV, you have these chicks, the females, right? And they not real women. They just fucking female mentality, right? What they'll do is they feel like because so many men rejected them in the past, they're gonna try to reject others. They're gonna try to reject these males and try to make it seem like there's something that they're not. They try to make it seem like, hey, look, I'm an 8, when really they're a fucking 4, maybe a 3, right? And then they try to pretend like, hey, look, I'm just gonna act like that and I'm gonna treat somebody else bad because somebody did it to me. So yeah, like I agree with what Max said. Look, classy women don't act like that. Real men, they don't act like that. Like a real man, he can get hit on by a busted chick and he'll let her down very gently, right? A real woman, a classy woman, she'll talk to you and see, hey, look, can I get some level of entertainment out of this, or is there something I can learn from this? If she feel like there's nothing that she can grow from or learn from, then yeah, she'll cut the conversation short. But that's a mature response, right? An immature response is somebody's like, ugh, nigga, no, I ain't talking to you, blah, 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 blah. That's somebody that's just seeking attention. It's negative
Yeah.
fucking attention because they don't know how to get positive attention.
Attention seekers. Okay. Mac, you had something to add?
Yeah, I mean, it's like if a person finds you attractive, that's a compliment. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be mutual. You know what I mean? You could just enjoy the fact that she finds you attractive or he finds you attractive and just take it for what it is. It's never a time for you to put the person down because of how they feel or how they view you. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I feel like people that operate like that don't have a lot of confidence. They don't have a lot of, they have low self esteem themselves because they feel like putting somebody else down is going to build them up or make them look better.
Like I feel like the age definitely depends on your experiences, the age of the point that you start to learn how to handle rejection, right? That's what we were saying. That changes based on your experiences because when you said it, one, I thought about being a black woman, but two, I thought about one of my first experiences of being rejected. And it wasn't necessarily on a relationship level, it was on a friendship level due to like bullying at a school. So like she's the new girl, she's the black girl, she's the darker girl, because it was a whiter school, you know. I remember things like that happening, and that's kind of what already prepared me for certain rejection. I already knew there were going to be people who didn't like me because my skin was darker in like third grade. So I was what, 8, 7? So that's pretty early to start learning things like that. And I think in real life, we need to for sure, 100% be sure that our children are prepared to handle rejection by the age of their graduation before they're moving out and being grown adults. So
So, Mac, I think you mentioned something about being an educator or working in the education system. As adults, as grown men, what are some things that we can, concrete things that we can deliver to a young boy or girl in terms of dealing with rejection? I don't even know if rejection is the right word, but we'll just use rejection. Dealing with rejection and navigating what comes with, oh, this person doesn't like you, or this, you're not this person's type. How do you let someone else know that, no, you're not my type?
Man, I start by just letting young brothers know that they can't find their value through someone else's eyes. That comes with success. That comes with any aspect of your experience. Like you gotta really know who you are. You need to pour into yourself, build yourself up. That's what I tell my young men now. It's just like don't worry about females at this time because you don't really have a lot to offer them. So just get yourself together, and then females will come. And then another thing for them to understand is that contrary to popular belief, we are in demand, not the other way around. You know what I'm saying? When we're in a setting, let's say a college, a collegiate setting, for instance, you're going to be surrounded by females. It's going to be very few men in a given situation. It's going to be you're going to be outnumbered every time. So that kind of flips everything. It's like you don't have to be pressed. You don't have to go in there and flap around and try to get everybody's attention. Just be yourself. Be confident in yourself. Understand who you are. Women that appreciate that are going to be attracted to you. I look at it as like I played a lot of basketball when I was growing up. I relate a lot of things to basketball. I mean, if I put up 50 shots, chances are I'm a score. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a score eventually, right? If I take 2 or 3 shots, I mean, chances are the rejection percentage is going to be higher. So I mean, if you don't like the results, go back to the drawing board. You know what I mean? If she said no, holla at this chick. Maybe she says yes. If she says no, figure out why she said no. It don't have to be all intrusive, but you know what I mean? I'm just curious to see as to what is it that turned you off about my approach. You know what I mean? So that you can get the feedback so you can hone in on your skills.
Right.
Definitely get with brothers that are successful at whatever it is that you're trying to be successful at. I was lucky enough to have my cousin. He took me out to Staten Island one day, and he's got this brothers meeting. They still get together to this day. They've been friends since high school, and they sat me down and schooled me. I mean, everything that there is that you need to know about women, relationships, the approach, how to handle every given situation. I learned in that meeting, and then I took what I learned, from that night, and I applied it and just trial and error.
That was
Yeah,
dope,
that's
man.
some solid advice.
Willie P, you mentioned on some previous shows, you mentioned some of these cougars, some of these older women that gave you
Right.
some of the game as a young man. You think that's necessary for a man to seek out the counsel of older women?
I would highlight what Max said, right? I would say that you should seek the counsel of experience. The Bible says, wise men seek the counsel of the wise. If you want to get experience, get with somebody that's got experience in those things and go from there. Now, with older women, I talked to them because they were real with me. They were like, hey, look, ain't no woman gonna want no fucking weak ass man. Ain't no woman checking up behind no weak ass man. You got to come a little bit stronger than that. The same thing I was getting from older men. Like I got game from the older men. They put me up on game. Like Max said, there's hey, look, this is how you approach. You got to get your fucking shoes together. You got to get your clothes together. Tuck your fucking shirt in, all right, but let them fucking see what you're working with. Advertise your dick, shit like you know what I mean. This is shit that motherfucker was being real with, right? And they was like, hey, from there you got to talk to her. You let her hear your confidence in your words. First she gonna see it, then she gonna hear it. After they gave me that game, then I went and I tried it. I was like, okay, I want to hear from a woman that's gonna tell me the truth. So I started talking to older women. And then, they would give me the fucking truth. And after they gave me the fucking game and I gave them some dick, then I would try this shit on younger chicks. And it worked.
Willie talked about advertising. I heard this thing of like sweatpants season or some shit like that. Is that like a thing where Women like dick watching. Is that what it's called? What is that? What's the
Uh,
scientific term for that?
but you know, you be sundress season watching.
It's
Stop it.
cock gazing is what it's called. Y'all do that shit.
But Brittney Burner, is this a thing?
Y'all know what y'all be doing.
Is it effective though? Does it work? Is it effective?
Of course.
To what extent though? What does it do for you? Don't get shot now, motherfucker.
Well, it's what it does for you. Makes it easier to talk to. You can fall in the DMs. What you want? My number. You want something to eat? Like,
Can I cook
Oh
for you?
God, that was amazing. That was fucking amazing. Okay, one last topic before we get out of here. So I've had conversations. We've all had conversations with women in general about this thing called the whole phase. But I've had
Mm,
conversations where it was like people were regretful that they didn't experience a whole phase.
mm,
So do we feel like a whole phase is necessary for people in general, for men and women, in order to kind of sow your oats so that you won't be out here with all this build up and then end up in a post nut clarity situation? Start with Willie
mm.
P. What do you think about that whole phase?
So I think it's necessary for men, right? If you're on a top tier level and if you get to a point in your life or you expect to get to a point in your life where you want to settle down or build a business where you don't want pussy to be a distraction, then yeah, you should go through a whole phase in your younger years, all right? If you do it in your older years where you have a business or you have something that you need to accomplish and you're trying to do a whole phase, and that's in a complete distraction. It will completely deter you from what you're trying to do. For women, I personally would not recommend it, right?
get this
If
nigga
I'm
out.
right, if I'm look, if I'm shopping for a wife and then she tell me that she had a whole phase, I done turned off the fucking volume. I can't hear nothing else that she fucking said. That's a complete disqualifier for me. But if she's like, hey, look, I was only in one fucking relationship and that be that, okay, cool. I got you. But yeah, I'm not attracted to the whole phase when it comes to women. Now, I'm cool with a woman being honest with me and she
Mhm.
said, hey, look, I had this phase back in my years and I ain't looking for no relationship. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's continue that shit. But nah, yeah, that's
A,
how I
whole- a
feel
whole
about it.
phase, a whole phase is a deal breaker.
For
Nigga,
marriage,
Okay.
it
he
absolutely
wild.
is. Now, if she's just trying to get some dick, then okay, cool. Yeah, the whole phase ain't a deal breaker. If I'm renting a car, I don't want to rent the one that only has 7 miles. I want to rent the
So
one that's got 30,000 miles on it. You
But
know
if
what I
you're
mean?
buying a car, you want to buy the car with
I
seven
want to
miles.
buy that shit with 3 miles on it, maybe less than that.
Right though, he's right. It's two different rules of engagement, man, when it comes to men and women. Like for men, yeah, it's
uh,
more socially acceptable. It's not right, but it's just the reality of it. Like Willie was saying, it depends on what your goals are. Like if you want to be successful, if you want to live a luxurious lifestyle, you want to be financially set, then I don't think a whole phase would be the move for you because I mean it can get expensive. Not that you're out here tricking off, but I mean, like, you gonna spend some money getting around town and going to clubs and doing whatever it is that you got to do. I feel like for a woman, it's a balance to it. You know what I mean? You don't want a virgin. You know what I mean? You don't want a woman that you got to teach everything. You kind of want a woman that knows something, but not too much. Of course, if you're interested in marrying a woman or you're interested in taking it to the next level, you're gonna ask the homies about her, man. If they even know anything about her or they know somebody that smashed. Like, I don't want nobody that I know to have ever seen you naked, touched you, kissed you, none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because if it does go down, we walking down the aisle and that person's at the wedding, you know what I mean? That's not cool.
Hmm.
Right. And then he reminiscing. You know what I mean? You building visions of the future. He looking at visions of the past. That don't mix well.
I can see how a whole phase could make it more complicated, especially if y'all from the same area. It's more likelihood that she's dealt with people that you may know. Brittney Burner, come in here and tell us why we are savages and cavemen and how we are thinking.
Cause I don't want no used up ass motherfucking shriveled nut ass nigga neither. God. If you gonna been out there, Willie, you been out there, Willie. How many miles you got, Willie?
Listen, I'm the owner, okay? I've driven a lot of cars, but I ain't got no mileage on my body. I put some
Oh,
mileage on a lot of cars. A
and
lot of cars I put mileage on, but ownership, I've only owned a few.
So Brittney Bird, you saying that men can have miles on them too, meaning men are going through their whole phases. Women are looking at that with a side eye too. Like, I don't really think I could take this dude seriously.
100%. And if you don't think that we're looking the other way, you are lost your mind. If you're dealing with somebody who has done it, but is also judging you for have done it too.
Y'all some hypocrites. Basically, what she's saying is y'all some goddamn hypocrites. Y'all out here running through these chicks, but then you judging them for getting ran through. That is hypocritical.
So I think American culture is the only culture that's different. In a lot of cultures overseas, it's common for the man to have multiple women. Then a lot of cultures, the women they accept that is actually looks like a sign of status for the
Mhm.
man to be able to handle five women or five wives, three, two, even two is a lot to fucking handle. Right, one woman for that matter is a lot to fucking handle, especially in America. But I think here in America, this is the only place where it seems a little bit unacceptable or frowned upon. I've never seen anywhere
What
where a woman had multiple men that she can handle in the same relationship, unless they're a bunch of bitch ass niggas. I mean, I
Oh
can see
shit.
that.
documentaries on that shit? You damn nut. You stop it.
They ain't
This
real men. You ain't never gonna find no motherfuckers on the top tier level like Idris Elba, Jay Z. These top tier motherfuckers. You not gonna find them in a relationship with they one of three dudes with one woman. You will never see that shit. But you will find the motherfuckers at Kenny Shoes or living in his fucking basement and shit like that. Yeah, you will find them types of motherfuckers probably in a relationship like that.
I don't know what fully goes on with any of them. I don't know what they do, but I'm sure they done other stuff.
I mean, these celebrities are weird, but if we talk about just the dynamics of men and women, there's more of a dynamic of a man having multiple women versus a woman having multiple men. If you look
Right.
at previous civilizations, you're not really seeing a lot of women with multiple husbands. There's a double standard because there's two different genders. But I will say that a whole phase shouldn't necessarily be a disqualifier. You really should be dealing with the person that's in front of you, like right now. What's the quality of this woman that's standing in front of me right now? It's a top tier
I'm
woman.
calling bullshit on that. I'm gonna call bullshit on that. You know why? Because every man has a favorite fucking chair that he don't want nobody to sit in. If you don't want a nigga to sit in your chair, you willing to share your fucking woman
No, but
with
let's say for example, she's 35 years old in her whole phase when she was 18. Are we still canceling her out?
no, are you counseling her out?
I mean, if she from well, depending on where she from. If
So
she from
you would wife a born again hoe.
yeah, if she's been delivered, then I would consider it based on the quality of that individual that's in front of me. If she's a peaceful being, if she's making my life easier, if she's leaning into my purpose, these are things I may consider overlooking a whole phase from 20 years ago.
Listen, you need to run for office. That was a
That
fucking
was really good.
political answer right there.
That was really
Look.
good. That was very good. You're right. Yeah.
Hold on. So
But
let
yeah,
me ask you this. So let me ask you this, right? How would she even be in position to do any of those things for you if you knew that she had a whole face from the jump? Would you give her the opportunity to hold you down and be there for you if you already knew that she ran through the whole neighborhood at 18?
yeah, I think that would kind of disqualify her because why do you lead with your whole phase? Like, don't you want to like display your good qualities before you get to? By the way, in 1997, I ran through Atlanta. You want to lead with your positive qualities. So yeah, if she's leading with that,
Mhm.
that's gonna chop her head off immediately.
You're a wild lover for that one.
Why? Why? I mean, look, I want to know from jump. Like, I've had a few chicks tell me, hey, look, yeah, I was a whole fucking hoe in my past, but I ain't never fucking been in a relationship with them, and I never fucking wiped them up. But we did do what we did, and let that be that. But I ain't never fucked nobody that somebody else fucked that I knew. That's where I
Mhm.
draw the line. There's an absolute no go for me, especially like one of my boys. I would never fuck with a chick that one of my boys fuck with. Never. I don't give a
Yeah,
fuck how bad she is.
and the last thing I say is that for women, you are receivers. So the dynamics are different. As men, we're inputting into you. So we're not leaving that situation with as much residue as y'all are. So it is a difference. It just is. Biologically, it's a difference. Energetically, it's a difference. With that being said, I want to thank Brother Mack for coming in here. We really appreciate your insight. Is there anything you want to promote or tell people about?
Hey, just thanks for having me, man. I love the show. Like I said before, man, just keep doing what you're doing, man. It's an excellent podcast. One of my favorites.
We appreciate that, man. Yeah, we taking off this year, man. This season has been amazing so far. What Black Men Like, best podcast in the game. We did it again, y'all. We out of here.